Yeah, I was ready, they didn't have my back. They were petty, I stayed in my bed. On that petty, I brought it right back.
Hey, buddy, it's time to pack your bags, cause me and my Patriots are gonna crack open a cold one in November.
What you say? Hit the road, Jack. Don't
Pack your bags, buddy. Hands on top of your head. Walk backwards.
come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more.
Oh man, my brothers and sisters around the world, my beautiful Patriots. I hope everybody is blessed, well, healthy, and that nothing but the best is going on in all you beautiful people's life, man. I love you guys, and I'm wishing the best in all you guys' life, man. Just here to bring the love, the positivity, the good energy, amazing updates. So go on, tune into the show, drop a like on the video. You see the title, and we got an update from our brother Doug, man. Link will be in the description box down below. But man, thank y'all for all the love and support, all the amazing comments, even just the 2% of the hate comments as well. I appreciate you guys, man. I love y'all. We have been a blessing to so many people on the channel, and every single day we continue to be a blessing to people, man. That's what it's all about, loving and caring for one another. And that's all I want to spread throughout this journey on this channel. So without further ado, let's jump straight in, y'all. Link will be in the description box down below. Again, y'all go show Doug some love. And oh man, we got another update, y'all. Let's check it out.
The Supreme Court has a case on Trump. While all of the attention is on Trump in New York, there's a bigger one going on at the Supreme Court. It loosely involves Trump. It can involve Trump. It has to do with the J6 300 people who trespassed on J6. The Supreme Court is going to see if they committed obstruction of an official proceeding. Now, if it goes through for them, it could also go through and indict Trump for the same reason. They can say that he tried to obstruct an official proceeding. The question is, can they use this old law from I think 2002 or 2008 to have it apply to these J6ers and then to have it apply to Trump? Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. Lots of articles, lots of dense stuff here. But after this, you'll be all set on what's happening at the Supreme Court. It could very much involve Trump. And as What's-Her-Face on The View said, this is the only case that counts for the actual election. And she's upset that it's not even being tried yet.
We're waiting on the immunity ruling. Yeah. We very well may not have a verdict in that ahead of the election. And that's scary for me because I think that's what actually could change the course of this election and wake people up to how dangerous it is.
So here we go on the article. This is at Fox News. Supreme Court to debate sleeper case that could affect the Trump federal prosecution. Legal scholars say the conservative high court might be wary of giving the government too much leeway. This is by Shannon Bream. It is the sleeper case that could upend the most closely watched criminal prosecution in the nation, and how the U.S. Supreme Court decides the fate of an obscure Capitol riot defendant will have immediate legal and political implications for the former and perhaps future president. See, this is all about one Capitol riot. Just that she called it a Capitol riot is sick. You know, it's a trespassing case, okay? This guy on J6, he's being tried, and this could be applied to Trump. That's all they're saying. The justices on Tuesday will hold oral arguments on the appeal of Joseph Fisher, one of the more than 300 people charged by the Justice Department with obstruction of an official proceeding in the January 6, 21 insurrection case. Now, they're already tying that interruption of the official proceeding. They're asking, did Trump cause it? Like, did he demand they do it? Did he try to organize an insurrection? That's slightly different on the table than what this is. Okay, the charge refers to the disruption of Congress's certification of Joe Biden's 2020 presidential election victory over Donald Trump. Special counsel Jack Smith, the villain, has also brought an obstruction charge against Trump. So this is another thing added on to that, which is among 4 counts the 2024 presumptive Republican president nominee faces. His trial in that case was slated to begin March 4th, but the Supreme Court's decision to hear that case and a separate dispute over Trump's claim of presidential immunity has delayed proceedings indefinitely. So they're just pushed back to beyond his presidency. Remember, this was under Chutkin. This was one of Jack Smith's orders. Push that back. So Trump is momentarily safe. Now, the charges. A federal judge earlier dismissed the obstruction offenses against 3 January 6th criminal defendants, ruling it did not cover their conduct on the Capitol grounds. Those defendants are one-time police patrolman Fisher, Garrett Miller, and Dallas area, and Edward Jacob Lang of New York's Hudson Valley. Fisher's appeal was the one the high court accepted for final review. So this one made it to the Supreme Court. Okay, here's Julie Kelly on Twitter. We're underway at the Supreme Court. Jeffrey Green, representing Joseph Fisher, opens. Clarence Thomas asked the first questions on how 2 provisions, C1 and otherwise C2, are related. The question is whether the second part, very vague, is tied or independent of the first part, alters, destroys, mutilates, or conceals a record, document, or other object with the intent to impair the object's integrity or availability for use in an official proceeding. This was because they destroyed evidence in the Enron case. They shredded paper. And then they're trying to apply this to rioters that obstructed a proceeding of electing Joe Biden. Now, U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols, a 2019 Trump bench appointee, determined prosecutors stretched the law beyond its scope to inappropriately apply in these cases. Now, this is what the Democrats are doing in all of the indictments against Trump. They're stretching the law, and so they test to see if this case is going to hold together. Say for Alvin Bragg or Fani Willis, they stretch the law, and then it's the judge's decision if they go, oh, you didn't break the law with your stretch, it'll hold. We'll expand precedent and include your case. And so you have Democrats expanding that rule of law, definition of that law. And of course, they don't apply it to Democrats. Ruling a defendant must have taken, quote, some action with respect to a document, a record, or other object to obstruct an official proceeding under the law. So that was a tighter definition. See, so the Republicans are coming in saying, no, the definition is show me the document they stole or the record or an object they took. That's what the actual law says that they're trying to try these J6ers with and Trump with. Okay, and then here's Amy Comey Barrett from our thumbnail. Amy Comey Barrett asked a question on a point raised by Jack Smith, which is whether 1512C2 defendants did attempt to obstruct with documents, in other words, electoral certificates. Brown Jackson, Justice, presses green on whether statute applies to evidence, since the word evidence doesn't appear in the language. Then there's Justice Kagan. There are multiple ways the drafters could have drawn commonality between C1 and C2. 1512 C2 is under USC 1512, tampering with victims, witnesses, or informants. So this is about evidence tampering, not about J6ers starting a riot. Then boy. Justice Alito comes in. I think you may be biting off more than you can chew, that the otherwise clause can only be read the way that you read it. Green 1512 says zeroes in on the witness and evidence. Governor's reading the C2 is so broad that it would apply to anyone who influences in any way any official proceeding. So see, they have to limit how far you take this or they'll set precedent. Then Justice Kagan argues 1512 C2 was meant as a backstop and catch-all for Congress to encompass what 1512 C1 did not address in its response to Enron and Arthur Anderson. You'll remember those names. Then Sotomayor agrees that Congress in 1512 C2 wanted to, quote, cover its bases, quote, whether we've never had a situation like this before where people have attempted to stop a proceeding violently. And then Julie Kelly writes, really? Wondering what her colleague Brett Kavanaugh thinks. Because remember, Brett Kavanaugh had his house, he had attempted murder on him by this trans activist guy who had a gun and duct tape and a razor blade or something and was coming to his house, and they stopped him.
Yeah.
So Julie Kelly is just cracking a joke here about stopping a proceeding violently, because that would apply to him, because he was trying to stop a Supreme Court from doing his jobs, probably specifically on Roe v. Wade. Okay, so this district judge, Carl Nichols, remember, an appointee of President Trump, so this is good for us. He concluded the statute in question focused on tampering with evidence and did not apply to those allegedly engaging in assaultive conduct like participating in a riot. So it doesn't cover you go and riot somewhere, doesn't mean you interrupted an official proceeding that requires you to steal a document of some kind. The Justice Department challenged that ruling, and a federal appeals court in Washington, so they went to a higher court than this Trump judge, and the court in Washington agreed with the prosecutors that Nichols' interpretation of the law was too limited. So they're going, no, Republican, too narrow. Quote, the vast majority of courts interpreting the statute have adopted the natural broad reading of the provision. The three-judge appellate panel wrote. Now, who are those three judges? Quote, applying the statute to all forms of obstructive conduct that are not covered specifically under the provision. Here's some back detail. Other defendants, including Trump, are separately challenging the use of the charge, but not as part of the current Supreme Court appeal. The relevant statute, 18 U.S. Code Section 1512C2. I'm only bringing this up. You go, why are you bringing this up? I go, because this is what I hear all through my legal friends that talk about this. There's a shorthand. This whole case, this one is called the 1512C2. They'll all say it, 1512C2. Now you know what they're talking about. Of the Corporate Fraud Accountability Act, a part of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. Remember, this is back in Enron times. This is 2004, 2008 is where they came up with this. This is how that 1512C2 reads, quote, whoever corruptly obstructs, influences, or impedes any official proceeding or attempts to do so shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both. Okay, and then here's the U.S. Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar. January 6th was a deliberate attempt to stop the joint sessions of Congress from certifying the results of the election. So, and then down here is Clarence Thomas. There have been many violent protests that have interfered with official proceedings. Has the government applied this provision before? He knows it hasn't applied it before because it wasn't. Yeah, it was only applied on January 6th in Trump. Congress passed the law back in 2002 after the Enron financial and accounting scandal. Executives at the Texas-based energy company were charged with fraud, and the company eventually went bankrupt. This is with Enron, the biggest ripoff scam in American history. Okay. Lots of people went to jail over that one. Lots of old people lost their retirement money. Now, it's not fair just to cover the one side. We have to see what this Fisher guy did on January 6th, and this is where he gets into trouble. So I'm just going to give you a balance here, okay? He texted messages he sent before attending the rally where President Trump spoke. Quote, take Democrat Congress to the gallows, unquote. He texted. That's illegal. So he texted that. Kind of bad, guys. Don't do that. Don't write it in my comments down there either. He said in one post, and, quote, can't vote if they can't breathe, lol, unquote. Fisher's pleaded not guilty to several charges. The legal team argues hindering or affecting an official proceeding is too ambiguous as applied to Fisher's conduct on the Capitol grounds. So he might be a lunatic. He might have screamed stuff out. He might have even been joking when he said that. Hey, people say it all the time. Hang that guy. You know, they should hang Hakeem Jeffries. I don't think that's a legit threat. I didn't mean it as a legit threat. I hope it's not taken as a legit threat. It's not a legit threat. But people say that all the time. There's a Smiths song, Hang the DJ. One of my favorites. Now, Trump factor. How a Supreme Court ruling in the Fisher case would affect Trump's separate prosecution for alleged election interference is unclear. If Fisher prevails, the former president could then ask the federal courts to formally dismiss his own obstruction charge. That's how this affects Trump. If Fisher wins, it could set precedent with the Supreme Court for Trump to also dismiss this same charge. Okay, and next up on the Supreme Court, 9 days after oral arguments in the Fisher case, the justices will hold a public discussion to debate whether Trump enjoys absolute immunity from prosecution for conduct in office when allegedly seeking to overturn the 2020 election results and certification. So now you're all caught up on Trump at the Supreme Court. This whole thing is in flux, and it will be for days and days. I don't need to cover it every day, but I wanted to give you the big picture that big things are moving right now in the Supreme Court. And it can involve Trump. If all the J6ers are saying that this Enron thing doesn't apply to them, 1512, then it automatically applies to Trump. This is really one of the big cases. Like I said, Elisa Farrah Griffin on The View said this is the one that could actually affect the election. So we'll keep an eye on this on the side. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys subscribed.
All right, man. Let's get these comments. Jack Smith, Alvin Bragg, Fonnie must be disbarred and sent to prison. Yeah, oh yeah. God bless Trump for all what he is being put through. He has to be tired of this crap. May the Supreme Court act in a supreme manner. Let our people, like January 6th, political prisoners, go. God bless, save President Donald Trump, his people, and family. Hearing this makes me think wholeheartedly about Clinton destroying her emails. Anyone else? Oh boy. Gotta love the comment section, man. I appreciate the comment section. I appreciate my family on the channel, man. So y'all comment down below, you guys. Don't be afraid to comment down below. Drop a like on the video, man. And again, we're gonna bring updates to you guys every single day, man. And we're gonna crack open a cold one in November. So tell these corruptors, pack your bags. God bless all you beautiful people, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace and love, y'all. Beautiful Patriots, thank y'all for making it to the end of the video. And again, man, we do all this coverage on my OK Life channel as well. Daily updates, new information. We even go back and check out the old things. You know, that has been such a blessing, just like this video you just witnessed. So thank y'all for stopping by, tuning in. God bless you all and your families. And I will catch you beautiful people in the next one. Peace and love, y'all.